Hey everybody, it's Rick starting over. So I want to talk about something that's all over the news, of course, tariffs, right? And after the tariffs went in place by President Trump, there is an initial panic among people who are uncomfortable with tariffs in general, okay? Some of the countries that the United States has been dealing with have had an advantage in tariffs for a long time. And they've enjoyed that advantage. They've charged the United States high tariffs to ship products to their countries. And it's like a little kid. It's like a 5-year-old, right, who steals some other kid's toys, right? And then the other kid comes back and he says, I want my toys back. And the kid who stole the toys feels like he's the victim. You know, they're not your toys, right? You got to give them back. But that's the attitude, you know. Somebody steals the toys, they think they're theirs now. No, they're not yours. You got to give them back. So that's the way it is with tariffs, you know. These countries have had an advantage in tariffs. They've charged the United States a lot of money in tariffs. And previous administrations have just let it go. Who knows why, right? Maybe just weakness. They didn't want to bring it up. You know, when someone owes you money, you know, you're always a little, you tread lightly to say, hey, you know, you owe me money. Can you start paying me? But it's a lot like that. Maybe the weak U.S. leaders in the past just didn't have the balls to go ask for a fair agreement. Well, now Donald Trump is asking for a fair agreement. And the other countries don't like it. Well, that's too bad. You know, things have to be fair. And Donald Trump has said, you know, I'm just going to rip this Band-Aid off. I'm not going to take it off slowly. And it's causing some pain. Well, that's the way it goes. When things are equal and this all settles out, I think things will be just fine. But Donald Trump, representing the United States, is tired of being taken advantage of by tariffs. For example, you know, we can't sell American cars in the European Union. The tariff is so high. What's so fair about that? We sell all their cars here, you know. So now it's going to be equal. Well, they don't like it? Hey, too bad. You know, you've had a good deal for a long time, but the party's over. You've stayed too long at the fair. Come on, it's time to go home. All right, so that's the discussion on tariffs, at least for now, you know. But let's set that aside for a second. So basically, I'm aligned with President Trump that we've got to equalize this tariff situation. Okay, so let's set that aside. Let's move on to a mistake I think President Trump made and should never have done this. This talk about the 51st state was just ridiculous from the beginning, and he never should have said it, and he can never take it back. And I don't blame the Canadian people for, frankly, being insulted. You know, being treated like a second-class citizen. You know, I don't blame them for being upset. And the trouble with that remark, saying he'd like to see Canada to be the 51st state, means that he doesn't respect them as a country. And that's a big mistake. That's a big mistake. Canada's a proud, great country, right? And President Trump should have acknowledged that. He should have been respectful. And this talk about a 51st state is just insulting. It's insulting. And the problem is, certain things, once you say them, you cannot take them back. They'll always remember that. They're never going to forget that. Things are never going to be the same, right? And at least as long as Donald Trump is in office, it's never going to be the same. So I think that was a blunder on President Trump's part. I think it was bad judgment. And, yeah, so that's it. So although I'm for him with his tariff policy, I think that's fair. That 51st state remark was out of line and just plain wrong. So Rick starting over. Till next time.